Hello everyone. So today I'm actually going to talk about something that isn't magic on a day that is normally I do a lot of magic content. Uh, but that was always the idea that if I wanted to talk about something that isn't uh that is in relation to my normal content, it would be on a Monday or Tuesday. And I realize this may not get a lot of traction, but so I have talked in the past, which I should have listed up there, about how I actually do a fair amount of video game collecting. I don't have the largest, but I do have a sizable GBA game collection for things that like the Pokemon series and other things that I may actually find interesting in playing, such as the tactical ogre. I've always had a love for JRPGs, definitely tactical ones, so it's been wanting to get through some of that stuff. But why am I bringing up that GBA games? I'm actually wanting to talk about these little small cases because for a while I've just had these like free floating, but then it's like I need something. Then I literally went online on Amazon, and the it's one of these like from a review aspect, they are they're great. They aren't the most sturdiest things in the world, but at times I have issues just trying to open them up. But they can be quite easy to use. At times, I really have no idea how exactly I'm supposed to put it in. Am I supposed to put it like that, in which that would protect one of the pins at times, or am I supposed to have it like that, you know, the pins facing down? Um, there's been times that I was like, I'm not 100% sure, and most of the time I do do it like that, but it's easy enough. And that's the thing, dude. And the opacity on it is generally okay. I'm using the tactical ogre game, but yeah, it's like it's a whole lot clearer compared to it not. So you can see right through it. But I have to give credit to to these little things. Um, and if you're trying to introduce like younger kids to it, it might be a little hard for them to open because there's a clear. It's gonna be hard to see. Let me readjust my light for a moment. Um, so unprofessional, but this has always been a casual channel. There. It's somewhat hard to see, but you can see that there is like really where the clasp is. Is like probably I'm supposed to like. It's not that I find it easier to like sometimes squat use the center, the sides to really help get it open, but you can see it's not the easiest thing to really open. Uh, but overall, they've been always fairly useful with most things. But and where I say, I have an issue with the general opacity, um, the viewing part that does exist with it, there is like a clear square there and a clear square there. So you could literally print out, if you wanted to, literally print out like those front faces and literally like put them straight onto the actual things and just like, oh yeah, this box is for this game. Granted, it's one of those things that's like, oh yeah, I have Fire Red, yes, Fire Red, in this GBA, but it's one of these things that's like, oh, let's put in a new cartridge. Yeah. put this into in here and then take out another thing. It's like I normally just do the take it out and just throw the previous cartridge into there. So it and for most of these storages, they all oh, excuse me. It makes it a little bit more difficult at times to where is this one game and do I have it? But that's where my master list comes in to see if I have certain things. But I do some amount of sorting myself. But most of these are actually surprisingly somewhat cheap. I'll quickly show it. Jumping over to Amazon real quick. Yeah, even the original uh like GBA and Game Boy and Game Boy Color cases, $10. Most of these are $12, $13 for the GBA variation for 10 or 12 pieces. Granted, yeah, there's this more showing that you can potentially travel with a whole lot more. Definitely, if you're expecting to do a lot of travel with your GBA and you want to bring a number of games, that's more useful. But sometimes having these guys throw them in a plastic bag, that's usually just as good for me. So, oh yeah. Um, but yeah, overall, most of these are not that expensive, and definitely if you are. And how I actually found them was, yeah, $16 if you wanted to go with like more of a actual case for them. But how I actually found them was simply typing into Amazon, uh, GB, uh, GBA cartridge case. So yeah, it's really that simple. Oh, to actually find some of these things. Um, and if you're into collecting for GBA games, oh, there might be better actual containers for these, but I have found just yeah, it takes up a little I can pump this is doubling the amount of over height, but for me who just okay, they're either going onto a shelf or onto a drawer, just open, exposed with the gates. I would rather have these, and definitely, there are people saying, "Oh yeah, let's place them. Let's actually have a little shelf, and you can probably just actually have them displayed that way. You can just pick one up and say, I'm. I would rather have, even if I had that, I would rather have some amount of casing on them just as a safety net. So yeah, uh, this is me just blabbing at this moment, but yeah, I think it is important to definitely if you're into collecting and definitely if you're into cartridges. Um, yeah, there are some for some of the bigger things like the N64 and uh, NES and SNES, the Super Nintendo and the NES. They all the actual things. But these are so small that if you get collecting them, I would, unless you collect everything in box, I would highly suggest I got 12 of these originally, I think. Probably a lot more actually. But I picked up a few of these. You can easily pick them up for 25, 12 of these for $13. Hell, you're already probably going to be spending that much on like 1, 2 of these on the elite mode on these expensive games. Spend the extra $13 for peace of mind. Definitely if you like playing on hardware. So yeah, overall recommend. Definitely if you're a collector of GPA. So yeah, I'll see you around, folks.